your money and how you can protect your finances from a natural disaster.
We've seen fires, flooding, hurricanes destroy homes, cars, and completely wiping out personal possessions. Now, it can be difficult to recover and regain your financial footing, but there are steps you can take now to prepare before a disaster were to strike.
So for more, we want to bring in David Peters, a financial advisor and CPA. David, good to have you with us. So let's start with our financial paperwork, which can obviously be hard to replace. So what are the most important documents that we should have ready to go in case a natural disaster does hit?
Well, I think that you basically want to have copies available of all your important documents. So things like wills, also titles to property, deeds to property, things like that. Also life insurance policies, birth certificates. Those can also be important documents to keep track of.
Now, we know about homeowners insurance, but of course we know each policy differs in coverage. So, I mean, how should somebody make sure that they have the right policy for their needs? What should they be looking out for? And then also importantly, if you don't own your home, maybe you rent, what can people do to still protect their property?
Well, so whether or not you have, whether or not you own your home or not, you're going to have insurance on your property. And typically there's going to be something called contents coverage or personal property coverage. And the key thing to, I think, just to remember is that there's certain items that you're going to have limited amounts of coverage for. So things like jewelry tends to only have about a few $1,000s worth of coverage. Also expensive artwork, maybe high-end electronics, those types of things, those tend to get very little coverage in your standard policies. And so I think it's important just to make sure that you have, that if you do have those things, talk to an insurance agent, make sure that your homeowner's policy covers it. If they don't, then you need to get a separate policy for those items.
Take some time when you're looking over those policies. Sometimes people kind of go through them real quick, go, yeah, that's good enough. I'll take that.
And it is good because I know, like, renters insurance, you know, living in New York City, you think, oh, my stuff's covered, but maybe not some of those specifics.
Exactly. Read the fine print. So, okay, let's say after a natural disaster, people often need access to money right away to help with unexpected costs, especially if they're living in a hotel. There's maybe no access to banks or ATMs. What are your tips for creating an emergency savings fund? And then how much should we aim to set aside for that fund?
So especially in the event of an emergency, we want to have liquid funds available. And so being able to save something into online savings accounts or money market accounts, things like that, where we can access cash quickly is going to be important. Typically, we recommend 3 to 6 months worth of savings that is going to be available in liquid form that we can get at quickly. Because as we have seen in more recent times, you know, when a natural disaster happens, people need access to their money quickly.
We were talking about those documents. I had a question that kind of popped into my head, too. Is that something that, you know, these days you can access anything from the cloud? Are there documents you should be saving digitally and putting in the cloud and ones that maybe you shouldn't be for security reasons?
I think that cloud-based storage is typically what we recommend as the way to go, because because then those items aren't in the home. So if you do have to have something in paper form, you know, typically investing in a safe or possibly a safe deposit box at a bank is usually the best way to go. But I personally like cloud-based storage better because you can get at it anywhere, and there's less risk of those items being damaged by flooding or things like that. The only thing to be careful on with cloud-based storage is that we want to make sure that we have passwords on everything, just to make sure that those documents aren't accessed, that they're only accessible by us.
This segment is really making me feel like I got to get my life together.
We know what Savannah's doing this weekend.
Yeah, David.
Wedding planning
if
first.
We talked if we talked offline, David, you'd be very disappointed in my management of all of my things.
But not in a few more weeks. All right, David Peters, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, coming up.